I'm here, guys. I am just seeing if I can get this up on the screen. It normally is a little bit behind, so bear with me. It's been a bit of a rush today. Ah, here we go. Right. So let me just. Hi Lee. Right, let's get in there so I can see what's going on. And see if I get comments showing as well, because I couldn't find them last time. Aha. Right, I need to, yeah, I know what I did last time. Let me do that. That's it. And then I need to turn the sound down on the laptop, otherwise I talk back to myself. So bear with. There, that's the one. That's better. Okay. Right, marvellous. So sorry for the delayed start. We had to pop out, and I got in at 7:15. And I hadn't set anything up. The tripod wasn't set up, the lights weren't set up, nothing. So it was a bit of a mad dash to get it all done. Okay. You with us now? Oh, brilliant. Okay. So good to see you all. Thanks for hanging around. Now I'll just explain briefly what I'm going to do this evening. You've got to put up with me this week, but the amazing Fiona's with us next week, which is marvellous. She'll be much more prepared than I am. What I was asked by a few people was to go over again the paper folding that I did on the last Hochanda show, which goes into our mini books. And I get loads and loads of people asking me how to do the innards for the mini books, and I thought it would be a nice idea if I did a live, then it's there forever. So if you need to refer back, then you can. So I'll just give it another minute or so, but I think anybody that's going to be joining will be in by now, because you would have tuned in at 7 for me. And then we'll get started. Hopefully I've got everything in front of me that I need, because as I say, it was a bit of a rush, but we shall see as we go along. Okay, so what we need is, I used some sort of medium weight cartridge paper, which is quite easy to fold. You don't want it to be too thick, otherwise you don't get it to fold very well. I've got this is the same paper that we put in our art journal starter kits, so it's quite nice and it takes the paint quite well. So I'll be using a sheet of that. So first of all, what we do is we want to actually put a bit of colour on your paper, because it's easier to do that before you start doing all your folding. You don't have to do this, of course. You can have white paper if you want to, or you can use coloured paper, whatever you prefer. And then the way we do this is on a palette, I just use a little bit of 2 different distressed ink colours. I will get around to using oxides one day, but these are just the normal distress inks. People keep telling me I need to use oxides because they're wonderful. This one is Victorian Velvet, so I've just literally put a little bit of that on a palette. And then the other one I'm going to use is Broken China, so I'll put a little bit of that on there. And then, I hope I'm not too blurry. what we're going to do is we're going to just spritz. Let's give that a bit of a spray rather than a directional, that's better. Give that a bit of a spritz with some water, like that. And then with your piece of cartridge paper, you just want to put this down over the top to pick up that colour, like that, and then turn it over and do the same thing on the other side. So for anybody that's just joining, what we're doing this evening, I've been asked a few times to redo the demo that I did on Hochanda last time, which was for the innards for the mini book. So I'm going to do that again, so it's saved for prosperity. So it doesn't matter if you've got all this splodginess, that actually adds to the effect. So you want to put that to one side to dry, or dry it off with a heat gun. Now, in the 10 minutes that I had before I came on, I did actually do one very quickly. Let me just get this out of the way and mop up a bit of mess. And this is the one that I did earlier. It's still a little bit damp, so I will just finish it off with the heat gun. I didn't think you'd want to sit and watch me doing this for 10 minutes, so I thought I'd get one prepared a bit quick, but as I say, didn't get in till 10 to 7 or quarter to 7, so it was all a bit of a rush, but I'm here now. And also for anybody that's just joined, to let you know again that the lovely Fiona Randall is going to be on next week. She'll be much more prepared than I am, and I'm sure she will do something wonderful. So that will be something to look forward to. Okay. So I'll just leave that for a second, and then what we need to do is we need to start to fold our pages. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to measure in each side 30 millimeters. Now, just to let you know, this is an A4 sheet of paper, and the measurements I'm giving you means that this fits into one of our mini books like this. So you can adapt this to any size mini book that you're doing. Okay, so let's measure in 30 millimeters, 3 centimeters in from each edge. I'm hoping I get this right. If not, it's never mind. I'm sure I am. Okay, and I didn't get my bone folder out. I can see it. That's it. So we need to score down that line like that. And then the same on the other side. The paint's still a bit wet, that's why it's gone like that, but never mind, I'll cover that up in a minute. That like that. And then we can fold that up like that on that side. Use the bone folder to get a good crease. I know what else I didn't get, and that was a pair of scissors. I'm hoping I've got some to hand. Like that. Okay. So we can now fold this piece in half like this. That's it. Use your bone folder again to get a good crease on it. And then what we need to do is we need to measure in from one edge. We need to go in 10 millimeters. So I measure that like that and like that. And we'll give that a good score. And that should fold over like that. Then we need to fold this into 4 sections. So the easiest way to do that is to fold that in half, but only fold it up to where you've done your 10 millimeters in. Don't fold it up to the end, otherwise you're going to have the different size pages. So butt that up to where you've got that bit on the end there, like that. And then give that a good push down with your bone folder. And then you can then fold back on itself. So you're creating a concertina. So put that back to that one there, like that. And then do the same with that one. Nice to see so many of you in tonight. Hi guys, lovely to see you. Okay, so you have got a concertina style like this. Now at this point, I want to edge the edge of the paper like I have on this one. You can see it's got ink along there. So I'm going to just grab a bit of sponge and an ink pad, which I did have out ready. Yeah, I'm going to go with a grey. This is an archival watering can. Open this back out, and then the edges that you're going to see, so that's where it's folded over there and there, that's the edge that you want to ink along. So I have to move over this way a little bit. I think I'm a little bit on the left hand side here. So you ink along that edge like that, so when you turn it, fold it back in, you see you've got a nice inked edge. It just gives it a little bit of definition. And then we'll do the same on the other side. Like that. course you can use any colour ink, it's up to you. The same with the distress inks that I used at the beginning, it's just whatever you takes your fancy, whatever your colour scheme is. Okay, like that, so you can see there's a nice bit of definition there. Now what we need to do is we need to cut along this fold. So where I said I didn't have any scissors, bear with me. I've got some, haha, it's always handy when you've got lying around. So what we do, it just proves I don't tidy up really. So what we do is we open that out, so you did have it like this, open it out, and then you want to fold that back the other way on itself, like that, okay? And then we'll be cutting along that crease to the first point there, but on both sides. So cut through both pieces of paper, like that. So you end up with this opening here, like this. All right. So then what you do is you kind of pull the middle pieces apart to create a diamond, like that, and then push those together, and then you want to flatten all this down because it won't quite fold how you had it folded before, like that. And then while we've got the scissors, where you did your little 10mm piece there, what we can do with that is we can just snip the top like that, and then those two pieces fold in either side to give you a nice edge. And you can, in fact, if you want to, you could glue that together if you wanted to. It's up to you. Okay, so that's like that. So then you have now a 4-page piece, each one with a little tab that you can put things in. Okay, so what we want to do now is a little bit of stamping. As you can see, this is what I've done just on the edges. At this point, this is where you, if you're going to do any other decoration, this is what when you need to do it now, rather than wait until it's in your book, because you can open it out, you can stamp it, you can do all sorts of things to it. So this is a chocolate baroque stamp, so I'll just ink up a bit of it and just literally touch it in on the edges. We don't need to have too much detail there. One of the beauties of using stamps not on a block is you can just pick out the little bit you want. You can bend it and just pick out the piece you want, so you don't get the image everywhere. Like that. That one. That one. And the last page, like that. Okay, so I'll move that out the way. Okay, so there is your 4-page signature, if you like. We can call that a signature because that gets sewn into your book. And basically, I've obviously, these are the ones that I actually prepped in the Hochanda demo. All of this, it was just thrown in a box, and I've got them, dug them out tonight, which was quite handy because it meant I had things pre-prepared for you. So for this particular style book, I would suggest you make 4, and then the way this gets sewn in, I think you can see on this one. I'll do a couple of close-up shots which I can post up afterwards. But basically I've used the bookbinding thread. I've got that here somewhere, I remember getting it. And the good thing about bookbinding thread is it's pre-waxed, so it shouldn't tangle up. So you'd need that, and then what I'll do is I'll sew one in so you can see what you do, but I won't sew all four in because you'll get bored. Now you've got two ways of doing it. You can, if you want to, thread your needle, and you can actually, where you've got these little cuts to create the spine, you can actually push the needle through those holes, like in the slits there, and do the thread like that. Or an easier way is to do it without a needle, essentially, although you probably need it at the end where you tie it in a knot. So yeah, actually you will. So let me just thread this needle. Fortunately it's got an enormous eye, so I can do it easily. I'm not sitting here fiddling around for an hour. What you do is, if you've got four, then obviously you need to divide your piece into four. I think, in fact, what I probably should have said is 3 is the best number. So scrap that, 3 is the best number for these. So what you can do is, where you've got these slits, they come apart at the tops here, top and bottom. So we will just tie a knot in this thread. That's easier said than done. It's going all over the place. See, this is where I should have had this all ready beforehand. And then you can pop that in the slot that's there. This is quite thick thread, so it might be a little bit tricky. So that goes, I don't know if you can see that very well, but that has gone in that top slot like that. We can pull that through to the knot like that. That's it. So there it is there. And then you would come down to the corresponding slot at the bottom, and you would pop the thread through there. Don't worry if it lifts the board up, it's not a problem. I'll tell you afterwards what you do with your paint just to help secure it all. And then you pop your signature in like that, run your thread through the centre, so you've got 2 pages on each side, go back up to where you put your first piece of thread, keep it fairly taut, pull that back up and back through that top slot. Do that a couple of times just so it's nice and secure, and then you can this is where you would use your needle, you can then sew through like that. Oh, and you can put a knot in it so it keeps it all secure like that, and then we can cut that off there. So then you have got, as you can see, you've got 2 signatures in there. You would pop the other one there, so you would end up with 3 signatures in your book So to show you with this one, because this one's more finished, you can now see how these go like that. And then the best way to finish off the back, I think, is if you wrap some thread, so you're pulling all three of them in together, and then, excuse my dog, I don't know if you can hear him barking, he's outside and he's talking to himself. He doesn't want to come in, he's quite happy out there, but he just barks away to himself, bless him. So the best thing to do is pull the three bits of thread together, which actually tightens them all up a little bit more. Wrap some thread round and tie a knot. And then when you actually put some paint on the outside of your book, as I have here, if you actually paint over all of this area, that now is nice and solid. And that keeps it all nice and firm. You can then, of course, if you want to, put some matte varnish or gloss varnish or whatever you want to use, matte medium, anything like that, over the top, which helps to kind of hold that a lot more securely. And the other thing you can do, of course, with these little pockets, is you can then get some paper, which you can decorate the same way as I have done before, and then you can just cut small pieces like that, which again you can ink the edges, you can write quotes on there, whatever you want to do, whatever the theme of your book is. So we'll just ink around the edge like that, and you can do it on both sides. This paper's still a little bit damp where I sploshed it in all that ink earlier. And then these pieces, once they're decorated, will sit in there, and that gives you a little bit of extra things, extra areas where you can write little quotes or whatever you want to do, messages, put little photos in, whatever you fancy. And there is actually enough to do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 24 little pockets in there that you can then use to put any little bits and pieces you want to hide away in. And that's basically how you do that. So that's just going over that demo that I did on Hochanda last time. So at least now you've got this live that you can refer back to if you want to do one of the little mini books. Of course, if you use any of the other mini books that are a different size, you just need to adjust all your paper sizes. So that takes a little bit of maths, but you know, a little bit of fiddling around. Do it with a bit of copy paper first until you're happy with your sizes, and then you can do it on your decent paper. That's about it. Just to say, we are on Hochanda on the 25th of October, so not too long to wait. I'm going to have the very lovely Fiona Randall with me. She has designed some absolutely super products. They are so cool, and she's going to be demoing as well as me, so it's going to be a bit of fun. And apparently I'm doing a Facebook Live while I'm at Hochanda as well, but I'll let you know more about that when I know the details. I've not done a Facebook Live at Hochanda before, so that should be an experience. But I will let you know when I know more things that are happening. So I'll call that an evening. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your evening, and we shall see you soon. Thanks all. Bye bye.